Welcome to my car, one of my favorite places to be. I've always lived with people, and so it's never always felt like my space, but my car is my car, and it is mine. I can be in it if I want to, even if I'm just parked in my driveway. I'll just sit in my car, and I'll just be on my phone and whatnot. But anyways, something that is usually pretty scary is change. But the way I feel a little impulsive whenever I know a big change is coming. Because, moving, new jobs, living with new people, a lot of change. But I just can't help but feel like something more is coming than just that. And I mean, maybe I'm just anticipating all of it. And also another thing, actually, is that I feel so excited. I feel so excited for all of this. And one thing that's helped me a lot is that every time I would feel anxiety about it or feel nervous, like feeling nervous and feeling excitement is the same feelings within your body. It's really just your mindset about it. And so, like, let's say like you're about to go on this like really scary big roller coaster, and some people can feel like really nervous about it, right? And you're just like, no, I'm just excited. And then like it's the same feeling with it, like within your body. Like, you're still like kind of shaky, you're kind of like warm, but like it's literally the same feeling within your body. It's just the mindset. And I think this has helped a lot because like I'm so excited. And so, and I feel like this is also like why I like to post this video too, is that like I just feel a little impulsive, and I just want to like stir things up a bit. I'm happy. You know what? Let's talk. Let's really talk. Let's talk about me. And really, I hope anyone who watches this really just feels inspired by me. That's really the only thing, is I just want people to feel inspired by me. Like, because I just want to show up as my most authentic self everywhere. I used to dim so much of my light. I used to dim so much of myself just because like I just wanted to fit in. Like I always felt like I was always too bold wherever I went. Like whether it came to my outfits or the things that I'd say, and it just seemed like I would like not necessarily like hit a nerve, but kind of maybe like hit an insecurity within somebody. And it was just like, oh, okay, maybe I shouldn't do that. And like, because it's also like people that I like and people that I kind of wanted to be like, or I kind of felt, I don't really ever know if I mean, because there are some people who I did feel inspired by because they're good people. And so I'm like, oh, well, if I'm a good person, then I need to like dim myself down. I can still be a good person and be exactly who I am. And it just like, it took a second to realize that, because really when we grow up, we're conditioned to behave a certain way, to not do this, not do that. And, like, oh, like, you're a good kid if you do this. Like, whenever I was home, I always felt like I constantly had to be doing something, or I wasn't like quote unquote like good enough. Like I always needed to be doing something. Like I could not rest. And if I was resting and I was caught resting, I just felt like I was going to be in trouble. And so not anymore. Not anymore. There's stuff like that like I am like, okay, like no, like I am safe. I am literally just safe to be exactly who I am. Because who's gonna, especially like now that, like, I'm more on my own, like, who's gonna stop me other than myself? And, then it's like, oh, well, like, the fear of others, because, then, like, the wanting to fit in. But the way it, like, pains me mentally to want to fit in with others, just to, like, I just wouldn't talk as much, or I just would find different things to talk about, and I just can't do that. I just genuinely don't think I could do that anymore. I feel like I'm going to start showing up different. I feel like I look so happy in this video. I am so happy in this video. I fucking love myself. Period. And, obviously, like, the people that you're around now, I'm around now, I mean, they're still gonna love me anyways. But people that you would surround yourself with, like, they love you for how you love yourself. Like, I just got one of my books back, and I haven't read it in a really long time. And I was flipping through it because I had marked some of it. And one part in it said, you abuse yourself. You talk negatively about yourself. And so if someone abuses you more, you're not going to associate yourself with them. But if someone else around you abuses you just a little less than you abuse yourself, then you'll probably stay around them. But they're still abusing you. And you're still abusing yourself. The more you take care of yourself, the higher standards you have for yourself. The more respect you have for yourself. I have so much respect for myself. Look, I feel like especially when I first meet people, and I mean, this is something I do have to work on, because I feel like when I first meet certain people, I kind of think a little negatively about them, which isn't very nice of me, because I'm not a bad person, so I wouldn't want someone who first meets me to just automatically think I'm a bad person. But shoot, where was I going with this? I remembered. It's just, I feel like I can genuinely see somebody's soul. I feel like I can look at them, and, this came with a lot of, like, I want to say, like, more just, like, childhood trauma, I guess, where, like, I just would kind of have to assume what the other person was feeling in order to feel safe, because I needed to know what the other person was feeling, so I knew how to take my next step. So, like, I was, like, constantly walking on eggshells, which also created a lot of anxiety in me. And, of course, like, I still feel like I put that into play, but in a better way, where, obviously, if I see that someone may have certain insecurities, or okay, actually, hold on, I'm going to re-say that. No, because I was gonna say, if I feel like someone has certain insecurities, to tiptoe around that. No, that is not. No, hold on, that is not your problem when they have fucking insecurities. Be your motherfucking self. Now, you can still respect them. Obviously, don't rub it in their face, but also be yourself always. Like, because, you're gonna live your whole entire life with yourself. People will come and go into your life, and If they choose to love you for exactly who you are, that's great. That's great, because now you can feel comfortable in exactly who you are. But you gotta tiptoe around their insecurities, and then you gotta dim yourself down, then you're not gonna be as happy. You're not gonna be as happy because you're not gonna be yourself. And something else that I've always, like, this is just like something recent I'm coming over, obviously, because I'm posting content now, but is that, like, I've always had, like, super big dreams for myself. I've always wanted, like, a very spectacular life. Like, I do not want, like, let's have, like, a white picket fence kind of family. And I'm not putting anyone down who does settle for that, because you can find a lot of peace and love, and you can still have a very great life for having that. I don't. I, like, well, first of all, it's hard seeing, I've had a lot of difficulties even really wanting a family, other than, like, obviously, like, my family that I have now, but, like, creating my own. That's always been really tough to, like, for me to see that. But, like, you know, I'm sure I will. I definitely think I will. But I've always, like, when it comes to, like, my career, I've always, like, that can be me. Why can't I be that person? Why can't, like, I remember I'd walk through the high school hallways, and I'd be like, I wonder who here is going to be famous. I wonder, like, who I'm going to be like, yeah, like, I knew that person. Why can't that be me? I feel like fear is just an illusion. It's just an illusion. Obviously, it's a very real thing to feel. But, you know, we're not surviving out in the woods anymore. Like, you know, we're not always faced with death every single day. Like, we do not have, like, near death experiences every single day for us to feel in fear. And so I'm not gonna be scared. There's no reason for me to, like, there's no, like I just feel like the more I keep being myself, the more I'm going to get everything I want in life. There's this YouTuber I watch, and I love her so much. And she goes, and there goes the motherfucking lights, babe. And it's just like, obviously. And I feel like that's so obvious. The more you be yourself, the more you're going to get exactly what you want in life. Duh. And so, you know, if you're going to be more yourself, obviously you're going to get more of the partner you want, because you're going to be yourself. So the person that's going to love you is going to, like, naturally be the person that you're also, like, that is going to treat you the way you want to be treated. You know, you treat others how you want to be treated. You treat yourself with love, with respect, with loyalty. Why wouldn't you expect that in somebody else? Why would you ever settle for less than that? If you are constantly being yourself, why wouldn't you get the career that you want? If you're constantly expressing yourself, I mean, the way how I've always wanted to make money with art, with some form of art. And I mean, this is one way of expressing myself. I'm gonna be in a fashion show. Y'all who ain't following my Instagram, You know that now. And like, I do make music. And I haven't posted any, but I have been talking to somebody about it. Y'all don't know that. There's like 2 people that know that. Anybody who knows it now has watched this video, so thank you for coming this far. Anyways. And if you just keep being yourself, you're obviously going to get to the places that you want to be at. Duh. It's really funny learning how to be confident, because when I'm in public for a really long time, I feel like I kind of forget who I am a little bit, just because, you know, I can preach all this stuff. But, I mean, sometimes, like, I forget it. Sometimes I'm not always practicing what I'm preaching, but it's because by habit, I used to act differently. Like, I was conditioned to act differently, so I acted that way for a very long time in my life. Recently, I've been breaking out of that. So now I'm trying to condition myself to move differently, talk differently, like, everything. And so and that's why I like to be by myself, because I feel like I remember everything that I want to remember on how to be confident and how to just be myself. But when I'm in public, I feel like I almost like forget about that a little bit, because I was just always so used to those old ways. It's just habit. And so then it's funny, because then I'll like take a look at myself in the mirror or like on my phone, and I'm like, that's right. That's me. This is me. This is who I am. And then it's just kind of like, okay. Practice and patience, baby. Grace with yourself. You can't hate yourself into being who the fuck you want to be. You cannot hate yourself into being the person you love. You have to love yourself through every step, every single step you take. And you know what you have to do? You have to love the past versions of yourself that you don't like very much. Like, if you know you were a bad person or you didn't do great things, you have to love that part of yourself. So freaking hard. So freaking hard. You have to love them so much, because you love yourself today. So you have to love every single version of yourself that you are. And then every single version you become to the person that you're like, oh, this is me. This is like actually who I want to be. This is actually who I am. This is literally who I've been striving to be. You have to love every single version. You cannot hate yourself into being who you want to be. Something I feel like I just learned recently within myself is feeling safe to be loved by others, because I feel like I'm a very giving person. I will love the crap out of people. I will love y'all so hard. But when it comes to like getting love, it's just hard, because like, you know, you're not always treated the greatest, but I'm still giving it out. And now that could have been some of the respect that I had for myself, because I wasn't being my most authentic self. But I feel like once I really learned to be like, I can feel safe to feel love. And then I felt like I started loving myself even more, because I'm only accepting good things. And another thing is really learning how to trust yourself. And I feel like I've said this in like every single video. Because really, I feel like that's like where like a big moment it for me was like, wow, like I don't trust myself. And then I feel like that's when everything kind of started to unravel. And I feel like that's why I keep saying it, because that's where my moment was. Something that I feel like I was kind of trying to go on about is about having to love every version of yourself. I feel like every time you're about to really start to make changes in your life, old versions of you will come up, because those parts of you are scared to not be there anymore. So I feel like a lot of times when like I really felt like I was changing, and I would have like old parts of myself, and they would come up and almost make me want to revert back to old ways of being. And it's just having to be disciplined with yourself and really knowing where you're going and who you are, what you want to be, you're striving for. And eventually you'll just have to grieve your old self altogether, because the person you learned how to be is not necessarily the person that you are. And eventually, and it's so funny. It's not funny, but because I feel like, I come on here and I feel like sometimes I sound a little crazy. I don't care. I don't care if you made it this far. If you made it this far, it don't matter. You like to hear what I have to say. And I'm about to say goodnight, because I feel like I don't have too much left to say anymore. Thank you for coming to the end of this video, and I hope you have a great night.